It is. In this feature, it is. The thing is, this movie... I felt that this movie really lived up to the name Death Race. There's so many deaths in this. It's so action-packed, as opposed to Death Race 2000,
when I saw the...
It was just more humor.
When I saw the, like, in the early part where, like, the Jason Statham's looking at the car or whatever, and he, like, shows, like, the NOS, I was like, I didn't know it ran on energy drinks. Like, there don't be no match for that Red Bull car. I can tell you right now, it's going to have wings.
Something else that this movie did better than the original was that the characters had more depth to them. You knew a lot of their backgrounds. You knew where you knew why. Hell, you even knew why the race was going on to begin with. It was all a money grab for the prison, as opposed to the future where you didn't. As opposed to Death Race 2000, where you didn't know why this was going on. It's like, what's the point? What's the point of the race? Is it just to be? Is there too many people in society that you got to start killing them off? And this is the coolest way to do it. This is with 5 cars, just randomly, killing people. I mean, hell, there's probably a total. I think I read that in Death Race 2000, there's a total of like 33 deaths, and. So it can't be, we're doing this to control the population. You only killed 33 people, and most of the people that even say it stay off the streets. So, what's the point of that race? This, why. The prison's trying to make money. They figure this is what we can do, and people will buy it. And, the views, as they said, the pay-per-view views and the internet, it was out the roof. So they were making money. That's why they were doing it.
The Super Bowl.
Yeah, it was fixed.
Well, yeah, it was fixed, sure. So is WWE, but, everybody buys that.
Well, I'm dying in WWE.
Well, true. But nobody cares about these guys
Not
because
anywhere,
they're prison inmates. They don't care if they die. As a matter of fact, they probably want to see them die because they are inmates. They probably, they've done wrong.
Would you watch if they did a live execution? Or like a child murdering rapist or something?
It would all depend on how close I am to the situation. Because those happen all the time.
I'm talking about if it was on TV.
Watching that, it doesn't interest me at all. But having said that, if I was close to the situation, like if it was somebody that did something to somebody I knew, yeah, I probably would.
I'd watch regardless.
Yeah, because I've got more feelings. I've got more vested interest in it. Something like this, there's action. I would probably watch it.
I would ironically live tweet the execution.
You're like, I need to bring my phone with me. So what you're saying is you would definitely watch. So say people go to prison and someone sets up which we should probably make this a thing, a gladiators arena using prison inmates as the combatants. You would watch that.
Are they fighting to the death?
Yes.
I might.
Because you said it's a show for profit, and
yeah. Well,
I mean they're
if they're in a ring, but if they're in a ring,
I'd watch it. I would have to watch it.
I already watched the NFL, and I think that's just a couple of steps.
it's just before. It's a prequel to.
Like, those guys are slowly killing themselves every Sunday, and I'm just like, get up, pussy. We got to win the division.
We're about to die, salute you.
They don't even get their freedom after 5 years. They get released.
In a way, it's their freedom. I do...
Only if they save some money.
Yeah. There is a fight between Jason Statham and the characters Pachinko. That fight was 10 times better than the Sly and David Carradine fight.
But it still wasn't great.
Oh, it was a lot better, though. And there's more guys involved, too. So, and then even List was got threatened a little bit in that fight as well, too. So the fight scene was much better.
Let's read the critical response portion of Death Race. So
what are you reading that on Rotten Tomatoes?
Gives it a 43%. That's not fresh, by the way. That's a Rotten Tomato. Roger Ebert, the man who praised Death Race 2000, gave the film half a star, called it an assault on all the senses, including Common. Keith Phillips of the AV, Common Sense.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the rapper.
Keith Phillips of the AV Club said, film is ideal for those who want to watch a bunch of cars blow each other up without having to think about it all that much.
Yeah.
Hey, hold on. I enjoyed the fuck out of Twisted Metal.
See, that's also something I didn't mention. This movie is real similar to Twisted Metal. If you've never,
Yeah, but they didn't have an ice cream truck.
there was no ice cream
Or
truck.
a dude in a wheel thing that's rolling.
If you don't know what Twisted Metal is, it's a video game from the late 90s.
No. Like mid-90s.
Yeah, mid
Like
to late-
95.
Yeah, mid to late 90s. It's basically this, except it's an open area, and you just start blowing up
And
and
he had a
killing.
clown that drove an ice cream truck.
Yeah.
Greatest
Awesome.
guy ever.
Yeah.
Greatest car
I
ever.
think everybody picked that car, even though it was slow. It was slow as shit.
Yeah, but the missiles in there were awesome.
Yeah, the missiles were awesome. And something else that I didn't mention too is on the race course itself, there are power buttons that if they drove over them at certain times, they could activate different abilities, much like in Twisted Metal, where they could have
Or
machine
Mario
guns.
Kart.
Or Mario Kart, even. They'd get smoke screen, they'd get machine guns, missiles, whatever. See, I just thought that just added something,
But it
just a little bit more.
It's like, here's the thing with that movie. It's another one of those movies that just... It reminded me kind of like 2012 with John Cusack, where it's like, just everything keeps happening at the end. You know? It felt like they were just kind of making it up
Why can I not pull that
on
movie?
the fly. Where it's about the year
About
2012,
the
the
end of the-
Mayan calendar. And
Oh, yeah.
It's just,
I
it's
got
just close call after close
Yeah.
call. And that's just how this movie
remember
felt.
now.
It just kind of got to be a
You
point
just happen
where...
to be able to fly a plane and save
Yeah,
a plane.
like the
Yeah.
plans kept changing, and there was too much, and it was just like slow down. Like there's just too much going on where I lost interest.
I just must be a fan of explosions and guns.
Well, and that's what this movie is.
Yeah.
It's more of a explosion
Yeah.
movie. I mean that's what it is. It's just shit.
It's a
blowing
dick
up.
flick.
It
Yeah,
is.
chick flicks.
Yeah.
This is a dick flick.
Yeah.
Yeah, by far. I mean, and Brad must just prefer the chick ones. If he doesn't like this one.
I just like good movies. It's terrible. It was boring. Like after a certain point in time, you can only see shit blow up before you're kind of like,
Oh, come on.
I've seen it.
That big ass thing that Joan Allen's character had made, that big, what was it? It was, I think it was originally like a bus or some shit, and they bring it out and there's guns everywhere, and
Goliath or something.
yeah, and they, Machine Gun Joe and Jensen both run over a circle at the same time, which brings up the stopper thing, and that truck just runs right into it and just causes it to split in half and blow up. That was awesome.
How did she find them, by the way?
How did she find who?
Fucking Statham and the one dude, the Gary's.
How did she find him?
At the end of the movie.
She didn't.
Yeah, she did.
Oh, you mean that chick?
Yeah, his
Oh, I thought you
navigator.
were talking about Joan Allen. They probably...
Because literally he was just like, so you good? And she was like, yeah, I already got papers. He's like, alright. And then then all of a sudden she just pulls up into, he's in like a community too. So it wasn't like he was like, go to the farthest beach. He was just like,
I thought he was in a
fucking
junkyard.
see you when I see you. And
What?
she just pulls up. Like, I didn't get that.
Well,
If
time had passed.
Yeah, but if I remember correctly, there was a point in there where he talked about where he wanted to go, where he wanted to get away from everything.
Oh, and so
else.
she knew the coordinates?
Well, no, I'm just saying. Like, I think I remember him saying something about like exactly where he wanted to go, but it does. I mean, it is a little ridiculous to say, okay, I GPS'd it.
Well,
He sent me a ding.
there was no Facebook.
Well...
How do you answer that?
Yeah. It was
Oh,
the
look
future.
at his Instagram. I recognize that,
he
Rock.
just took an uppercut.
Well, time had passed, and they probably had...
Which would make it harder, I think,
Yeah,
to
but...
figure out where he is.
No, in time had passed, they didn't show that part, but they probably had some interaction off screen.
But I'm saying,
That's how they
how
reload
did they
the weapons
have
when they don't have
the
clips.
interaction? They were prisoners. They didn't have phones. He didn't even have a phone number. He was making $300 for 120 hours of work.
He put
He couldn't even get T-Mobile. He couldn't get Boost Mobile.
He put an ad in the local paper. She
couldn't-
read it.
He couldn't get what's that one? The Talk, Smart Talk. He couldn't get one of those.
Well, anyhow,
He couldn't get a Go phone. He couldn't get a Dora the Explorer phone.
All right, I'm just going to shut you up now and just say that this movie is 10 times better than Death Race 2000. So much more action, so much more depth to the characters, and...
Just the majority of the population disagrees.
And 100 times better. Ding. Mother...
Hey, Cherish. It's 8 o'clock. Is it time to get the show on the screen or what?
Do you enjoy watching films with friends?
Do you like to consume vats of alcohol?
It's some 40s and some bitches, baby, yeah!
Me, I like beer. If you like all that and none of those artsy-fartsy films...
Does this mean we don't get to go to the Fellini Festival?
Fuck the Fellini Festival?
Then watch and listen to Two Drink Minimum commentaries.
Every Wednesday, myself and a rotating panel of the filthiest podcasters I can muster up give you our comments, observations, and sometimes we might actually talk about the film as we class up some of your favorite films the only way we know how, as raunchy as we can.
What's this movie, PG?
Oh, yeah. This podcast sure is fucking...
Not only do you get the audio, but the video that goes with it.
Just listen to the shit that comes out of these filthy pirates.
You don't need to get an erection when your cock's full of rigor mortis.
Fucking curb stomp a baby for a baconator right now. I think the moral of the story is don't let Corky run Cerebro.
Unforgivable. If you could stand all that, come and get your fill and your fix of Two Drink Minimum Commentaries.
All the cool kids are doing it.
Two Drink Minimum Commentaries is a proud member of the Legion Podcast Network.
And we're back!
So, Machine Gun Joe's truck had no machine guns. Had missiles. But Frankenstein's car had machine guns.
In what, 2000?
Yeah, no, in his.
Oh, in his?
If I'm not mistaken, because he had a rack of, like, RPGs on the top of his truck. Which begs to differ. How the freak did they reload those things?
Yeah, because I remember, on Frankenstein's, she was hitting it at the beginning with the wrench.
You could only use them
when they got activated.
When they got activated, and I'm sure that they only got activated like once. You know, they only assumed that they'd get activated once a race.
This is my problem with that whole process, though. In RPG, when you shoot one, not that I fired one, but I know how they work because I'm ridiculous. I love weapons.
And you play Call of Duty.
You can't aim them. If it's on top of the truck and you fire it, it's just going to go straight from the top of the truck. Until it hits something, you can't aim them. You would have to be within the blast radius of that missile in order to effectively hit a car in front of you. And it would have to be pointed down, which they weren't. And if it fired and it's pointed down, your truck's going to get, you're going to hit whatever it is, and then your truck's going to get fucked up. Yours... To be fair,
he pointed to Brad.
They're going to get the context of it when I get to it. You have a bunch of cars with weapons on them that don't really do anything unless they're like rams. Like Frankenstein's car was probably the most effective, useful thing in there. But why have a bunch of fucking Tommy guns on your car and a big ass K-bar knife? That cracked me up. The whole time I'm like, it'd be really cool if those guns fired.
Well, no, but
at least you just need a string. That's all you would need. Put them on there with a string and pull the string and it pulls the trigger. I'm good.
No, but the thing is, those were more like
decoration,
the old school professional. Yeah, like the old school professional wrestling. That was part of the outfit. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat used to walk down with a headdress and breathe fire. He didn't breathe fire on the opponents.
But he had actual fire.
But I'm saying, those were just for show because his name is Machine Gun Joe. But, they killed people by running him over because it was more challenging.
This is true.
But here's the thing, though. To go with that, it's a death race. The object is to kill people. Mm-hmm. Just because his name is Machine Gun Joe, you don't want to have, look... His name's Machine Gun Joe. He's got cute little machine guns on his car. No, you should have real guns on the car. At least in my movie, they
did pop up with a Tommy gun at one point. So.
Yeah, he had his own gun.
He did do it, but it still should have been part of the car. My thing is, it should have been part of the car.
Yes.
Maybe it was outlawed. Maybe guns were outlawed.
Except if you're carrying them.
Yeah, except if you're carrying them. Yeah.
Nice try.
Maybe they're outlaw on the vehicle. It's like those restrictor plates I keep hearing about.